Hey guys, today I'm hoping to hop on here really quickly and just share some tips about these plants. I've been getting a lot of questions on YouTube and Facebook about them, so I figured I would just come on and answer some questions really quickly and hopefully give you guys some tips on things that I have learned over the last couple months or so from planting these. Now, I have tried to grow these over several years. I've been trying to grow this without much success, but I'm so grateful and so thankful that, just by trying little things here and there, and I want to share that with you because I really haven't found much tips on how to care for these and let them grow so they are beautiful, healthy, and thriving. This plant alone here has given me over 50 leaves. I just got some leaves this morning that I used in a mango chow. And it's healthy, it's delicious. I mean, this is my favorite herb of all time. If you like cilantro, if you love cilantro, you will absolutely love this herb. It's culantro. There are so many different names, and I will have the names down below. It's culantro, bhandhania, shadow beni, I believe Mexican coriander as well. So there's so many different names. I'll leave them down below. So what you can do, the first questions that I get is, where can you find it? I highly recommend looking in your local farmer's market, the first place, because that's where I found 4 of these plants. What you can do is actually give them a call and ask them if they have the plants, ask them if they sell the herb if you are looking for just the herb, or you can ask them if they have the plant. I did that and I ordered 3 of these. I also found this one there, maybe a couple weeks or so I found this, and it was actually just as small as this when I got it, and it's probably been a couple weeks or so, and it's really have grown a lot. Another place that you can find the seeds for this is on Amazon. That's where I got some of my seeds, and I will show you, actually this is perfect right here because I did want to show you something, but before I get sidetracked, let me show you the seeds that I have planted. I will try and link below where I found it on Amazon, but let's go over and check the seeds. So while we're gonna go check on those seeds, I just wanted to share, I can't ever get over it. I did a harvest of these the other day and I got about close to 30 leaves. These are really big and overgrown, I know that, but they're actually really soft. This is taro, also known as dashing bush, and I'm going to be using the leaves for cooking. You can also use the root, but I'm using the leaves. So anyways, I keep getting sidetracked. Here is some of my culantro seeds, my seedlings. I planted these from seed, and if you buy it on Amazon, I will have the link below for what I got. In my experience, I probably have about 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe about 10 plants here, 10 or maybe 11 or 12, I don't know. But either way, the seeds are really, really small, so when you kind of sprinkle them, they land where they land, okay? And whatever germinates, germinates. Now, this took about almost 2 months, over a month for sure, to germinate, which was a really long time. Now, I wasn't even sure if I was going to get any plants at all, and it was a pack of 2 packs of 300 seeds, so 600 seeds in all, and I only got about 10 to 12 plants. I did have another one right here that a caterpillar ate, and so he ate all the leaves. He enjoyed it, I guess, and it killed the plant essentially because he ate all the leaves. So I do use neem oil, 100% cold pressed organic neem oil on these plants with a mixture of the neem oil, the dish soap, and some water in a spray bottle, and I do come in and spray them every so often because it's all natural and it will deter those caterpillars, because especially if you have seedlings, you can plant this is outside. If you have like an indoor place that you can plant these seeds to help with the caterpillars and all that. But I will have the link for the seeds where I got them on Amazon. I don't know if you have no other choice and you really want to try the seeds, if you can't find the plants anywhere, you can definitely still try the seeds. Amazon has good customer service, so if anything, if you don't get nothing out of it, you can contact them. So giving a shout out to Amazon there, right? But honestly, even if I do get 10 plants out of this, which will be great, I don't know, they're planted so closely together, but whatever happens, I'm grateful for it at the end of the day because it's my absolute favorite herb. Right, it has been extremely hot here, and it's really hot, like in 107 degrees, 105, 108. I mean, it has been insanely hot. Now we are in around zone 8 to 10. We are in the south, zone 8 to 10. And yeah, it gets really hot. Really, really hot. But as you can see, these plants are just doing beautiful. So one of the first things that I've learned, now these are things that are from my experience, and I'm grateful to share it with you guys, because when I was looking for, information on growing these plants, there really wasn't any. So the first thing is, especially when you're buying them from the farmer's market or anywhere, I found, but you'll start to see this growing out. And I actually trimmed this off from here this morning, and it was like this, right? And sometimes it will get really tall if you don't trim them off right away. So I have one growing right here, and you can tell the leaves itself look a little bit different than the actual culantro leaves. So for example, this is a new culantro leaf growing out right here. This little baby one right here. It does not look as big and as jagged and spiky as this one. This right here, if you let these grow out, there are seeds in here. And I don't know if there's any, because I literally just picked them out as soon as it was growing out, but in the center of this, there are seeds. And if you let they grow out, you can definitely get more seeds. But right in the center there, there's tiny, tiny, tiny little seeds. Kind of looks like a little, I don't know, I had another one that I pulled out a couple days ago and I let it dry. I may get some seeds from that. And even if there isn't any seeds, don't know 100%, just take it and sprinkle it around your soil somewhere. I mean, I shouldn't have done it here, but regardless, you get the drift. I'm not sure if there was any. It's right in the center. There's kind of like a little bulb looking, it looks just like that. I'm trying to get my camera to focus here. This is difficult to do with one hand. There we go. Right, so it looks like a bulb and there's little tiny seeds in that. So you can just go very, very tiny, tiny seeds. Just crush them up, kind of just do the soil. If you have seed trays, go ahead and do that. That way you can transplant them when they get bigger. So that way you have stronger plants. But right here, as soon as you see these growing out, if you're not looking for seeds, go ahead and snip it off. Because what that's going to do is that's going to take away the life of your plant from producing your leaves, and they're going to start producing seeds. They're going to start flowering or bolting or whatever you want to call it, and giving you seeds as opposed to your leaves. And what you want from this plant is leaves. You don't want, unless you do want seeds, then that's different. I mean, I'm going to see if I could show you on this green one here. There really probably won't be anything in there because it literally just started growing maybe a couple days now. But I snipped that off. If you ever see any of these growing out, snip them. If you have them grown out tall, cut them, let them dry. That's seeds for you. You can plant your own little plants. So most important tip is trimming these off. And if you let them grow up, they will give you seeds. And then you can plant those. But if you do choose to do that, you're not really going to get leaves like this. So that's why I recommend having several plants, so maybe you can get seeds from some and leaves from others. But anyways, another really big tip is you do not want to overwater these plants. You want to make sure that whatever container that you are using has drainage holes at the bottom. Don't want to overwater. Sometimes I myself, with the weather we've been having, it's been over 107, 108, 105. Most days it's over like 102. So I do sometimes feel like, oh my gosh, I need to water my plants. But if the soil looks nice and moist and you can feel in there and it sticks to your finger like that, your soil is fine. You don't need to water it anymore. Now if it's dry, then yes, you will. If it doesn't stick to your finger, you will need to water it. Now, another thing is this container that I'm using here is a breathable fabric container. You can also find these on Amazon, and I love having these because they're easy to move around. They're they're just great. They're a lot cheaper too. Another really, really, really important tip. The first important tip is trimming it. And, well, you don't want to overwater it. But the second most important tip is these plants do not, in my opinion, and from what I have learned growing these, they do not like full sun. They don't, in my opinion. If they are in full sun, they bolt much faster and they go to seed much faster, and it's just not what you want for your plant. I actually have this in an area you see right here is just full on sun. Yeah, there's a shoe over there, and really hot, but I have this in a shaded area, which I find works best. And even though this is a shaded area for the most of the day, it will get some sun. I have this chair that I usually have that covers it like this, so it's completely always shaded. I do come in here sometimes. Let's say I do find that I just watered it and I don't want it to just sit in that water and be covered up, because the soil can get fungus if it is overwatered. I do let it get a little bit of sun every now and then, but I most definitely have it covered up in a shaded area behind this chair. This is just a temporary thing. Maybe I do have a sunshade that I would like to put out sometime and have them covered, but yes, another really important tip is they do not like full sun, especially, like I said, we are in zones 8 to 10. So anyways, for my seeds, I also have it covered, being shaded by this another chair. My cilantro I also have shaded, because it's the same thing with the cilantro. I find it does much better in a shaded area. Now this is just for the summertime and the heat. I do feel like wintertime, it's going to be the same thing for winter. However, it will thrive much better. I won't probably have to worry about it being blocked and shaded by the sun as much, because one, the days are shorter in the winter time, and it's going to be cooler, so it should be much better. I do feel these plants thrive better in cooler weather. It may vary depending on where you are, but I feel like roughly pruning it, keeping it, you do want to obviously keep it watered, just not overwatered, and also just keeping it out of direct sunlight for long periods of time will work no matter where you are. So another thing is feeding your plants. What I like to use for my plants is this organic blood meal. I will have this linked below from Amazon. But the blood meal is mostly it's just pretty much nitrogen, and we want nitrogen for our leaves. The nitrogen is going to help produce, it's good for the leaves, the leaf production in our plants, and that's essentially what we want out of these plants is leaves. Thing is, you can follow directions on this. I don't use it too often. You don't want to use too much of it, because obviously you don't want to overfeed your plant, but I do take a little bit and I do sprinkle it around sometimes, and then just kind of like work it in the soil around it, especially if you're going to give it a nice water. And I guess those are my main tips for keeping these plants. Are one, pruning it, cutting off the bolt when it starts to bolt. Get rid of that immediately. If you do want the seeds, just let it grow out, let it get those seeds. You won't get as much leaves, but you will get the seeds and you can replant them. And if you are replanting it, just use little seed containers or whatever you want. And yeah, make sure and keep it out of the direct sunlight. Water it, but not overwater it, and feed it some nitrogen, some blood meal, which has just nitrogen in it. So yeah, those are my tips for growing culantro. If you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comments below, or send me a message or something, because I'm hoping I addressed the most important things. I am still learning myself. As I said, I really haven't found much information on these plants, because they're not a very common plant, especially around where I live. But it is such a blessing to have. Absolutely. This plant is just absolutely amazing. They all are, including this one, which I said was just as small as this, but within a couple weeks of giving it some blood meal, giving it the shade, pruning it, you can see how large the leaves are compared to these, which it was almost the same size. So I hope that you guys well, enjoyed. I hope I was able to help you guys in some way. If you are looking for these plants, again, check your local farmers market, support your local farmers market, and check Amazon for seeds. And that's it. I also use these fabric containers for I plant, well, I got this mango tree here. I actually have a chenet tree, or I believe they call it quinapa, that I also transplanted into this, and a guava tree, which is so amazing.